We are continuing our opening round coverage here on the Friday Night 360 AZ Preview Show. I'm Jordan Ham alongside Haley Stasiak. We've gone through 4A, 5A, now we are here to 6A, and we're going to go ahead and bring in Desert Ridge head coach Jeremy Hathcock. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So congratulations on the number 2 seed. I know you were able to do that with a very young team this year. A lot of sophomores have logged a lot of minutes. How do you think that this experience going through the regular season will help them for the postseason?
Man, it's hard to say because they're so young. I mean, you've heard 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's kind of us right now. So, but I feel like the mental mistakes are kind of going away. Where they're so talented, where they can just play without thinking. They're very good. They're very hard to stop.
In 5 of the last 7 seasons, you've made it to at least the semifinals. How have you been able to kind of sustain that success with this program?
Honestly, it takes a village. It takes a village, and I think one of the things my administrators always tell me is we do a good job of not only coaching the fundamental aspects of it, but developing toughness and a soft culture. And I think that's the one thing we're trying to do is develop toughness and brotherhood. And everybody talks about brotherhood, but I don't think a lot of people have it. And some years we have it, some years we don't. Just one of those things where the kids really buy into what you're saying, good things can happen.
If we're talking about Desert Ridge, we're probably going to be talking about a very good defense. You historically have had some really strong defenses over the years, and I know this year your leaders on that side are Don J. Logan and Daisha Bennett. Just how have those 2 guys stepped up for you, and really that senior group? There aren't many of them, but how have they impacted this defense?
Right. I mean, that's a good question because I believe at the beginning of the year we weren't very good. We were very injured. At one point of the year, we had all of our D linemen out in certain games, and so we put a lot of stress on our defense. But whenever you're healthy and you got a kid like Daisha Bennett and you got Don J. Logan who's going to Stanford, and you got those, I think Daisha possibly could break our school records back. He's at 14.5, and our school record's 17.5. And you got those kids that are just stars, but I think those kids can't do their job unless you got a lot of really good kids around them. And I don't want to be remiss and miss anybody, but you got Tyrese Allen, a 2-year starter, Paul Sarski, a 3-year starter, and Christian Medeiros, a 2-year starter at D-line, and you just got a lot of really good football players playing football, and if those guys aren't doing their job, then the Don J. Logans and the State Bennett's don't happen.
What do you see as the biggest challenge for your team in this year's playoffs?
Youth. I mean, I think youth is a challenge for us. It's one of those things where, the kids don't know better because they're so young that they shouldn't be good, but at the same time, we'll stumble and trip over ourselves, and whether we can collect ourselves and not dwell on the past is a big issue for us. When we're down, sometimes we stay down, and when we're up, sometimes we get rolling. So sometimes we're too emotional. And the other thing I think is because the playoffs are so new, they don't understand how hard people play in the playoffs because these kids truly play like it's their last game, no matter who you play. So the level increases, especially in 6A, the level of hitting, the level of speed every week. Even we're playing Westview, they're region champs, and they're good. So, I mean, everybody in the playoffs generally in 6A is pretty good.
There's a saying that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. But it seems like in your guys' case, you have a pretty good tandem of Cooper Schmidt and Matthew Purnell. How have you been able to split time between those guys and kind of show different looks with those 2 quarterbacks?
We spent a lot of time in therapy together. So, just honestly trying to get those kids to be on the field without killing each other at times because they're so competitive has been fun. But those kids really are brothers now. They understand that if you do bad, you're still in. If you do good, you're still in. You're not trying to win a job. You both want a job. And since that's happened the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've settled down and played great football. I mean, a couple of years ago, we had a kid named Jordan Becerra who just graduated from Harvard, I guess like 4 or 5 years ago, and another kid named Parker Rasmussen. And those kids split reps all the time. And I think they took us to 1 finals and 1 semifinals. So it's worked in the past, and not everybody can do it, and that saying is correct. And it started out as like I made the dumbest move around, but now that they understand that it's their job, nobody's going to try to beat anybody out. They settle down and they've done good in their role. Plus, one's a sophomore and one's a junior, so I got this issue next year too. Fun.
Coach, good stuff as always. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
That was Jeremy Hathcock from Desert Ridge. Always entertaining.
He is.
Much like Coach Nugent, doesn't mince words. And it's a fun dynamic. You can tell that this guy just loves football, and that really shows within his football team. They are full of football players and guys that just love to be on the field.
Well, when we talk about these playoffs, one of the things that he said was brotherhood, and how not all these teams have that brotherhood, and he even admitted not all of his teams have had that brotherhood. But that's a big thing when you come into all this stuff. You have to have the guy next to you's back, and you have to play as a team, or things aren't going to go your way.
Yeah, and with that quarterback dynamic, it's so much between the ears. That has to be so tough trying to juggle that. But once they're able to click and realize that they both won that job, you have seen Desert Ridge play some really strong offense the past couple of weeks. So they should be fun this postseason. Coming up next, we're going to have Ralph Amsden from Arizona Varsity. We're going to take a step back, look at kind of the big picture of these various divisions, and he's going to help us break that down coming up on the Friday Night 360 AZ Preview Show.